Alright guys, I'm back. Thank you if you're still sticking around. I promise I'll keep this one shorter. This is kind of a sum up of everything and kind of just show you the end part. I talked way too much in the last video. I apologize. Okay, so basically I ended off, it's Christmas time. I am now admitted and I am bedridden, I guess you could say. Hooked up to monitors 24/7, getting my blood taken every few hours. So I was in basically the peds ward at Credit Valley for about a month until they could find me an actual inpatient, so an eating disorder inpatient program. So took them a month to be able to find a bed for me in Sick Kids Hospital, where I spent the next 3 months basically for the weight restoration process. Now, this process it's a heavy, heavy, heavy process. It's taxing emotionally. My personality changed like a 180. I am normally this happy, very happy-go-lucky person, chatty, but I was your stereotypical case of anorexia. Your classic textbook. I was caught exercising. I had to be watched. I had to have someone watching me in Credit Valley because I was caught exercising. I was very angry all the time, and I was very emotional all the time. Little things could just make me cry on instant because I was so exhausted. You have no idea how difficult it is to fight your own brain. And that's exactly what this is. A lot of people don't understand that you are in a place right now where you're extremely vulnerable. Everything affects you because you are literally trying to tell yourself off and trying to turn off this thing, this obsession, this compulsion in your brain. And it is so hard to fight back because the issue is that you see it too. I'm not sure if any of you guys are aware or understand what body dysmorphic disorder is, but basically my parents had to come in and tape up my mirrors because I would look at myself and I can't see myself properly at this point. I am, like I said, I was 69 pounds at 5 feet. And all I could see was that my stomach was still flabby and my legs were still big. That's what I saw. I didn't see anything else. My face was completely sunken in, and this is why I do not plan on showing you a picture ever, because that picture is awful. It was at Christmas time. It was at my very lowest weight because surprisingly, they let me go home for Christmas Day. And I remember staying there with my family. I know my family was shocked, okay, because they haven't seen me in a couple months, and they're shocked sitting there. I just look like a skeleton sitting there. The difference between, I thought about this, and it's going to sound very, very, very bad, but essentially, someone with anorexia is slowly committing suicide. Except, instead of doing it in the classic sense of just taking something and having it be quick, I'm doing it incredibly slow, but I'm slowly killing myself on a stage for all people to see. And that is very sad. I affected a lot of people in my life. I affected my parents. I affected my friends. And even, everyone around me is probably looking at me going, like, just shaking their head. Like, what is wrong with this girl? And that is one thing that I will always regret. The amount of pain that I put everyone through. Over those 4 months, I was supposed to be putting on about 30 pounds to try to get me back to, a healthy, decent BMI. And you basically reach about 90%, and then you're allowed to be let go. You get discharged. Because they got lineups for these beds. So they want you basically in and out as fast as possible. They want to put that weight on you, and then they want to let you go. Now, at the time, you're talking to therapists and dietitians and groups and everything, and I hated all that, to be honest. Like, I absolutely hated it. I was miserable in those things. I hated sharing anything because I'm very much a internal keeper of my emotions. I do not um, express them to other people, except apparently all my body issues. I was very vocal about that with my parents, and that's another thing. Like, I cannot thank my parents enough. They will never be enough thanks I can give them. They were there. Insta Kids in Toronto. I'm from Georgetown. It's about an hour drive or whatever. Throughout the winter, they were there every day for me during visiting hours. After work, they'd come down. They would stay for me for a couple hours, hear me vent, and say how I hated my life, and I hated myself, and I hated my body. And they go home. And that was what they did every day. Um, but I needed that. I needed that support. And I think that's a big reason why I'm here, and I'm able to fight this. And I didn't go back. After those 4 months, you get discharged, and you have all this weight back on you, and they can't help you with the mind stuff. That's something completely different. By now you become more nourished, you become more rational, but that voice is still there telling you look awful. And you have all this weight on you, and you need to get rid of it. It's not there. It's not supposed to be there. You're fat now, right? So they can't help you with that. That is something that I truly believe a therapist can give you tools for coping, but they cannot help you with that. You need to, in yourself, find it in your heart to fight that and to fight it back, because they can't tell you to stop thinking that way. You have to tell yourself. You have to realize that there's something else more important in your life that is worth keeping your life for. The next couple months as I was discharged, obviously came back to grade 11. And I had worked through, I was exempt from my exams in the first semester, but I managed to, obviously, I passed my courses. The second semester I came back, and I had already missed, obviously, it was 3 months into the second semester, right? Or 2 months, I believe. I got discharged right before March break, I think. So I had missed maybe 2.5 months of schoolwork there, but I was trying to do it in the hospital as well. There's always so much you can do in the little hospital school. So I came back, and I was very, very nervous. I was nervous about what people were going to think, because I knew exactly that everyone obviously had known that I've been gone for this much time, and they're going to see basically me left as skeleton and me come back now what I felt like was an elephant. Okay, so this is like the difference, right? I have 30 pounds difference from when I left, they last saw me, to when I came back. So that first day of school was terrifying for me. I was so nervous. My friends, though, they were awesome. They were awesome as much as they could, be there for me and help me out and try to help me during that first day. They were amazing. They were there for me. I was very vulnerable at this point. It also required me to put on regular clothing, which I will say through my entire hospital stay, I wore sweats. Nothing fitted because I hated myself. So this required me to actually put on jeans, and that was a big, big thing for me that day. Not only that, but obviously dealing with everything. I was very much on edge that whole day because it was very, very exhausting. So I know that, there were whispers going on, and there's people talking like, oh, she's back, she looks a lot different. And, people are telling me too, like, oh, you look so good. And I'm trying in my heart, I'm trying to accept the fact that that just means that I look healthy. But in my mind, looking good means that something bad has been put on me, which is weight. And I just felt fat. I felt awful. But you know what? This may sound crazy, but the one thing that was fueling me, not only was my school fueling me, which I managed to finish that semester off. I was in physics. I got a tutor. I was in another random, I think 2 random courses, but I had 2 or 3 really tough courses, including physics, which I just never could understand. I managed to finish off my grade 11 year making honors list. So that was an accomplishment all on my own. Again, I said that I grew from this. I grew and knew how hardworking I could be and how I can pull myself out of a ditch and kind of bring myself back off and still graduate with honors in that year. The other thing was, what was I going to say? Oh, my whole thing was that my dad had promised me that if I kept my weight up, that after school ended, that we could go back to the gym. Do not judge, because this was the thing that was driving me at this point. It is what was driving me to stay healthy, to not lose weight, and to continue to eat the massive quantities of food that I was supposed to be eating just to barely maintain my weight. I will point out that that very first month in Credit Valley Hospital, I was eating every 3 hours, meals that, I'm not joking, were a bit larger than my head, because I just need calories in there, and I gained less than a pound in 1 month. That's how dead your body is at that point. Anyways, back on topic. So that was what was driving me, because at this point I was hating everything, and I was so upset with myself. I did not like the way I looked. So that was the only thing in my mind that was helping me. I wanted to get to the gym, and maybe it was a little bit of both, like aesthetics, but I wanted it so bad. And my dad said, you know, as long as I'm there with you, you never ever step foot in a gym without me there. There's a time limit on how we're in there. I will be with you in there the entire time. You eat this specific thing before we go, and we'll be eating this specific thing after you come out. That was the rules. I accepted it. We did it. And that summer was me and my dad in the gym. And I couldn't have been happier to be there. And I actually, over the next little bit, I continued to go to the gym with my dad. You know, I started to see how strong I could be. And this is, I think, where the personal growth came, not only physically, but mentally as well. My focus in the gym started to change. It changed less from the, I need to fix this, I need to fix my, my fatness, as I called it, into, I'm actually fairly strong and I'm really enjoying this process. And I had so many doctors and dietitians, the dietitian basically called my parents saying, what are you doing? Are you trying to send her back? Why are you in the gym? That was an awful decision, because I had to actually go, obviously, to outpatient for a little bit, and we talked to a dietitian and blah, 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 blah. And they were so paranoid. They're like, why are you doing that? That's an awful decision. But you know what? I went to the gym, and that changed me. Okay, I am still here. I did not go back. The relapse rate of people dropping weight and going back into inpatient is about 80%. 80. I was the 20 that stayed out. You know why? Because my parents did not restrict me and keep me restricted like the hospital did. I think that sets people up for failure. If you try to force that hospital life on your child and you don't try to help them in any way deal with that psychological part, they're not going to make that. Then they're going to go back. And they said once they go back that second time, you've lost them. So I am incredibly thankful for my parents for being there and for trusting me, the exercise addict, at the gym, because that was my passion. And that was going to be what turned me around, and it did. I went from being, I want to be skinny, to I want to be strong. Fast forward today, I'm still in the gym. I'm by myself. Yes, I've hit some roadblocks here and there where I might have lost weight because I wasn't paying close enough attention or I wasn't giving my body what it needs. And to this day, I'm still trying to gain weight. But you know what? I'm still here. I'm learning. And this thing in my mind is never going to go away. It comes out when I'm vulnerable, during exams, when I'm stressed. I start to body pick. and all of my digestive problems probably have to do with that. I have probably some kidney damage as well, because during my stay I was so dehydrated that my kidneys started to shut down. What else? I don't know how damaged my heart is at this point. I hope that it's recovered itself. And they're even telling me that some of my brain tissue probably died at that point as well from malnourishment. So this is a big deal. This is a big deal. But all I have to say is that this beast physically can be fought in a hospital, but it cannot be psychologically fought in a hospital. You need to do it yourself. I needed to do it myself. I need to figure out something else other than I need to do this for my parents. I need to do this to do my school. I need to find something for myself. I need to be, why is Chelsea going to live? Why is Chelsea going to push past these horrible voices telling me these awful things all the time? Why am I going to push past this and not let them turn me back the way I was? I need to find something. And for me, in the beginning, it was the gym. Now, the gym drives me. I want to get stronger. I want to get fitter. I want to push my body to its maximum potential. I want to become a dietitian. That's what I want to do. Yes, it probably has something to do with, my experience and, the fact that I am a little bit more involved and focused on food than the average person is. I want to be a dietitian. I want to help other people. Specifically, I think I might end up going into eating disorders because it's a very ugly, sticky field, but I want to help other people. I started this blog because I want to help other people. And this is one big reason why I wanted to do this video, because I felt like I can help more people if they knew. And I want to live myself. I want to eventually get to the point where I can say, I love myself. I have come a long, long way. And this thing has taught me a lot about myself. It taught me that I am physically strong. I can get physically strong. I am mentally strong. I fight this voice all the time, no matter what it tells me. On a daily basis, you have to fight this. I fought it enough. A compulsion, an addiction, I fought it myself. I learned that I can ask for help. I learned that I have love and support around me. I learned that I need to take control sometimes. And I also learned that I need to let things go sometimes. Life isn't perfect. I'm not perfect. And I need to stop basing my whole life around what I look like. I learned that I have other passions. I learned that I can do well if I put myself and my mind to it. And that other things are important other than my body. So yeah, that's my story. It's a very long video once again, and I apologize for that. But I wanted to get that out there, and I will continue a little bit more in the post itself. But like I said, this is not for attention. This was very hard for me to make, and I really hope and pray that you will not look at me differently. To all my friends who had no idea that I went through this and are now hearing this now, I'm not a different person. I went through an experience. I went through a hardship. Everyone does. Mine just almost killed me. It wasn't my control. You do not have control over this. It happens. It takes over. You lose thought and sight of everything. Throughout those about 2 to 3 months of that period, I don't remember anything. I wasn't me. I was gone. I wasn't there. And it's not all about food either. That's another thing I want to point out. And I'll get into that a little bit more in the post. It's not always about food. Very often it's not about food. Most often it's about control or running away from something else. You feel like you don't have control of anything in your life, you're going to control food. Some people don't even have any body image issues. It's just about, they have family issues that they're trying to deal with, and that's their way of dealing with it. They have depression issues, and that's their way of dealing with it. For me, it was for my body, and that's why I was saying I was a very classic textbook case. But for most people, it's about control and feeling like they have to have control over something in their life. It has nothing to do with the fact that they're afraid of food or they're afraid to eat. Except that was me. I was afraid, and I'm still afraid of food. I'm still afraid of certain foods, and you see that on my blog. But my friend Molly actually sent me a post or a quotation the other day or last night, basically stating that you are only, challenging yourself with the walls or the challenges or something that you put up yourself. I really messed that up, but you know what I mean. You know the quote. Anyways, so I really think this, and I know in my heart that gaining weight is possible for me. And I always say, like, I have the hardest time gaining weight. It's mentally. I have a mental block on knowing how to do it, but I'm stuck. I am stuck. And I'm fighting that. I'm trying my hardest to fight that. So yes, I'm limiting myself right now. I'm limiting how strong I can get. My goal in life is to know how strong I can get. I'm limiting and cutting myself off that goal until I release that control and release that fear. So until then, my goals are at a halt. And I hope that I can release that soon and then I can push towards it. Like I said, every day is a struggle. Every day you have to push harder. Every day you have to let something go. And I'll always be growing, and I'll always be fighting. But that's my story, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. And feel free to comment on whatever you'd like down below, and I will talk to you later. And I hope this can help anyone, please, anyone. Any little thing in this, I hope it helps you. Thank you for watching. And I really appreciate all of your support all the time. Bye, guys.